resolutions. 2, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the City of New Brunswick, Title 10 for right turn on red light prohibited. 3, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the City of New Brunswick, Title 3 to amend fees for land use procedures. We have nothing on first reading. We have resolutions 1 through 32. 20 has been pulled at the request of the city clerk. 1, approve agenda amendments. 2, approve payroll. 3, authorize refunds for redeemed tax sales certificates. 4, approve request of city property at Bugalo Park. 5, approve request for use of city property at Feaster Park. 6, approve request for use of city property at Recreation Park. 7, approve request for use of city property at Joyce Kilmer Park. 8, approve request for use of city property at Boyd Park. 9, approve request for use of city property and use of city sidewalk at Feaster Park and basketball courts. 10, authorize transfer on several tax and utility accounts. 11, approve authorization to rebid for fuel, oil, and diesel. 12, authorize amendment of resolution R-062128 for additional inspection fees. Funds. 13, approve resolution to refer a redevelopment plan to the planning board. 14, approve award of contract for mechanical and electrical maintenance for the water treatment plant. 15, authorization to accept, execute, and attest a grant for the body-worn camera program. 16, approve emergency temporary appropriations for 2021. 17, approve amendment of resolution R-62149 for engineering services. 18, approve award of contract for the Remsen Avenue water main upgrade. 19, approve award of contract for sanitary sewer pump system maintenance. 20 has been pulled. 21, approve renewal of liquor license Abano Inc. 22, approve agreement with the MCIA for waste recycling and marketing services. 23, approve resolution to authorize release of escrow to Jangoli and Sons. 24, approve amendment of resolution R-122073 for roof restoration services at the Department of Public Works. 25, approve amendment of resolution R-12137 for special counsel for tax appeals. 26, resolution to rescind R-052137 for award of contract to Diaco Contracting for the Joyce Kilmer Avenue Phase 2 improvements. 27, approve agreement with New Jersey Transit for 12 bus shelters. 28, approve amendment of resolution R-72120 for milling of various streets. 29, approve award of contract with T-Mobile for 200 Joy tablets with the Senior Citizen Resource Center. 30, approve amendment of resolution R-022120 for interpreters with the municipal court. 31, advice and consent to rent control board appointment of Aiden Savette. 32, approve renewal of liquor license with George Baroud. Then we have items for discussion by council. OEM update. The next meeting is August 4th with the agenda review session beginning at 5:30, followed immediately by the city council meeting. The meeting will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Anderson.
Here.
Councilmember Egan.
Here.
Councilmember Fleming.
Here.
Council Vice President Escobar.
Here.
Council President Socorro Ludwig.
Here. Please be advised that the notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act have been complied with and satisfied, and that the annual notice which gave
This
sufficient notice of the time
conference
and
is
place.
no longer being recorded.
Mr.
This
Julius, is
conference
everything
will
okay with
now
the
be
line?
recorded.
Please proceed.
Mr. Julius, is the technology okay?
Yes, please proceed.
Thank you. I'm just going to begin the Open Public Meeting Act. Please be advised that the notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act have been complied with and satisfied, and that the annual notice, which gave sufficient notice of the time and place and conduct of all public meetings of the Municipal Council of the City of New Brunswick, has been filed with the city clerk, has been placed on an appropriate bulletin board and posted in the back vestibule of City Hall, visible to the public through the windows in the lobby of City Hall, New Brunswick, New Jersey, and has been transmitted to the official newspaper for the City of New Brunswick, namely the Home News Tribune. Additionally, a 48-hour notice of time, place, and manner of conducting this meeting has been made by the city clerk on July 15th, 2021, as is required by law.
The City Council intends to meet on a regular schedule and will meet the guidelines of the Open Public Meetings Act by utilizing a telephonic conferencing system through which the public may participate. The public is encouraged to call into the conference call-in system through the phone numbers and access codes transmitted in the 48-hour notice. During the portions of the meeting that are not open for the public comment, all callers from the public will be muted. During the public comment period, those who have interest in addressing the council will first be organized by last name, then called upon to speak one time and for no longer than 5 minutes during each public comment portion of the meeting. A timer will chime at the completion of each 5-minute period, and the speaker will be notified that their time has expired. Public meeting assistance accessing the call-in number should call City Hall at 732-745-5007.
Thank you. Now, if you'll join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in a moment of silence to reflect and honor our military personnel and law enforcement officers who dedicate their lives to protect our freedom, safety, and democracy. May God guide them safely in their duties. Thank you.
Motion to accept the minutes. Second.
Councilmember Anderson.
You're muted. You
Yes.
can press star
Councilmember
6
Egan.
anytime to unmute yourself.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Escobar.
Yes.
Council President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes. Madam Clerk, has the correspondence been directed to the appropriate departments?
Yes, Madam President, the correspondence received by the City Clerk's office has been forwarded to the appropriate departments for further action.
Thank you. We have no public hearings. First, we have an ordinance for discussion on second reading. One, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the City of New Brunswick, Title V, Business Licenses and Regulations for Cannabis Licensing and Regulations. We are now preparing to open the public hearing on this ordinance only.
You are
for
now
up to 5
allowed
minutes
to
per
unmute
person,
yourself
one time
anytime by pressing
That-
star
Madam
6.
Clerk, will you please
You are
prepare a
now
list?
allowed to unmute yourself anytime
Yes,
by
Madam
pressing
President.
star 6.
If any members of the public wish to speak on this
You are
ordinance,
now allowed to
please
unmute
state your
yourself
name when the
anytime
appropriate
by
letter
pressing
of the
star
alphabet
6.
is called. Letters A through Z, E through H,
You are
I
now
through
allowed to
L,
unmute yourself anytime by pressing star 6.
M through P, Q through T, U, V, W through
Charlie
Z.
Cradaville, can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Cradaville.
Yeah, I do want to say that because of the different system tonight, it keeps telling us to press star 6 to unmute ourselves, so you might want to make kind of an announcement to people who might be
You are
confused.
now allowed
Thank
to
you.
unmute yourself anytime by
Danielle
pressing
Moore.
star 6.
Okay, Ms. Moore?
And I will say, one of your numbers is not working as well, where it's disconnecting people.
You are now allowed to unmute yourself anytime by pressing
Thank you,
star
Ms.
6.
Moore.
The 571 is not in service.
You are now allowed to unmute yourself
Any other
anytime
members
by
of the
pressing
public wish
star
to
6.
speak on this ordinance? Letters A through Z.
That's one more time. Help people hit start.
Members of the public, if you need to unmute yourself, please use star 6 to unmute. Anyone from the public, A through Z, who would like to speak on the ordinance? Okay, the list is now closed. The first person on the list is Mr. Charlie Cradaville, Madam President.
Thank you. Mr. Cradaville, can you please state your last name and give us your address for the record?
Sure, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Charles Cradaville, New Brunswick. I'm the editor of New Brunswick Today. Had a few questions, but first I got to express some concern about this meeting with the advertised number not working. You know, we're here now in the 16th month of a pandemic, and you know, the city is still trying to figure out how to use not one but two different conference calling systems that are, you know, not 21st century systems here. We can't see each other. We're audio only still, and City Hall is still locked down. So I'm going to do my best to make informed comments, and I hope you can hear them, and I hope that. Yeah, I hope that people can hear me.
Do you have any comments related to the?
Okay. Certainly.
Yes, Mr. Cradaville,
yeah,
we
so
can hear you. Do you have any questions related to this? Go ahead.
Yeah, is the city going to tax or you know, collect any revenue from the cannabis industry?
I assume the same that we collect taxes on any other business. Mr. Jules, do you have a more definitive answer for that?
I'm actually going to defer to Mr. Shammy and Mr. Dominguez.
Okay.
Council President, this is Daniel Dominguez, if I may.
Yes, of course.
Okay. We fully intend, right now, myself and the CFO, Rich Mulrine, we're workshopping the language for the proposed tax. It'll be a separate ordinance. The expectation is that we will set a tax on the cannabis at whatever the maximum allowed by the state is.
Thank you, Mr. Dominguez.
So I just want to understand, you know, that this ordinance establishes a cap, a fixed number of possible, you know, businesses in each of three zones. And I want to clarify this would allow one retail cannabis business on Easton Avenue and two of the same in the downtown, like George Street area, and that there would be, I think, 4 licenses for non-retail for, I guess, wholesale, cultivation, and other cannabis-type businesses, and that would be in the Jersey Avenue industrial area town. Am I correct about those numbers? It's 1, 2, and 4?
Yes. Yes, that's correct, Mr. Cradaville.
Okay. Thank you. I guess my only other question would be, how did you arrive at those numbers, and why are you choosing to limit the business in that particular way as opposed to, you know, say, you know, setting standards for what you know, what would qualify as a appropriate business, instead of just setting a cap and saying we'll take up to this many? Is there a reason for that? And you know, why did you choose to go that route and pick those specific numbers?
The specificity I will ask Mr. Dominguez to refer to in a minute, but I know that the base of this is for the safety of the community and the benefit of the community. Now, as far as each number, Mr. Dominguez, do you have the specifics as to how you arose to these?
Madam President, so after careful consideration and months of back and forth of reviewing our options, we landed on these numbers as sort of a best angle for an initial foray into cannabis businesses. We don't really, as this is sort of, you know, we're all operating here for the very first time in the state of New Jersey. We wanted to be sure that we weren't allowing too many. We wanted to create a balance, as there may be unforeseen circumstances, and this allows us to not not oversaturate the market, and 2, to also ensure that we don't create any negative externalities for the residents of New Brunswick. So we felt safe with these numbers as a starting point.
Thank you, Mr. Dominguez. Thank you, Mr. Cradaville. Your time has expired.
Madam Clerk, the next person on, Madam President, I apologize. The next person on the list
That's okay.
is Danielle Moore.
Thank you. Ms. Moore, can you please state your name, spell your last name, and give us your address for the record?
Danielle Moore, Moore, Somerset Street. Well, I would say starting off as well, as Mr. Cladeville said, I think you ought to get a new system due to where as well, like I said, you're not telling people due to where your first line is not working properly. It's telling people it's not in service. So please, I hope you do upgrade your system. But I have to say, Mr. Dominguez had explained everything as well. One thing I'm just going to say is I don't see why the city, on one specific project, why do you keep doing separate ordinances on something instead of just telling what the whole ordinance is going to be, and then you submit it? But thank you.
That's, okay, thank you.
Okay, Madam President, we have no more members of the public on the list.
Move the ordinance. Second.
Councilmember Anderson,
No.
Councilmember Egan,
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming, Council Vice President Escobar,
Yes.
Council President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes. To amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the City of New Brunswick, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic, Chapter 10.12, Traffic Control Regulations, Section 10.12160, Schedule 18, right turn on red light prohibited at Sedam Street and Livingston, Livingston and New and Livingston, Easton and French, Albany and Easton. We are now preparing to open the public hearing on this ordinance only for up to 5 minutes per person, one time up. Madam Clerk, will you please prepare a list?
Yes. If any members of the public wish to speak on this ordinance, please state your name when the appropriate letter of the alphabet is called. Letters A through D, E through H, I through L, M through P, Q through T, U through Z. If any members of the public, A through Z, who wishes to address the council.
Danielle Moore, like I said, something's wrong with your system tonight, where every time you have to keep unmuting your system.
Okay, members of the public could use *6 to unmute themselves.
Did you hear me? Danielle Moore, I would like to speak on this ordinance.
Yes, Ms. Moore. Any other members of the public wish to address the council on this ordinance? Please dial *6 if you wish to unmute yourself. Okay, any other members, A through Z? The list is now closed. Madam President, we have Ms. Moore on the list.
Thank you. Ms. Moore, the floor is yours.
Well, first, would you please tell me why is it every time a person's muted, you have to keep unmuting your doing *6? That's not normal how we do a meeting. What is wrong with the system tonight?
They made an announcement for everyone to press *6 if they need to unmute themselves. Do you have a question relating to this ordinance?
Normally, that's the beginning of the meeting. You do not every time that they have to keep pressing *6 to unmute yourself. My question is, if I'm trying to understand, is this for allowing right turn on red?
No, it's to prohibit right turn on.
Okay, but the county just did Easton Avenue and French Street, saying no turn on red, stop here on red. I was just double checking if that was the same thing. So
yes.
These are no turn on red. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Madam President, we have no more members of the public on the list.
Move the ordinance.
Second.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Escobar.
Yes.
Council President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes. Next, we have an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the City of New Brunswick, Title III, Revenue and Finance, Chapter 3.28, Fee Schedule, Section 3.28.090, to amend fees for land use procedures. We are preparing to open the public hearing on this ordinance only for up to 5 minutes per person, one time up. If you need to speak, please unmute yourselves by using *6, and Madam Clerk, will you please prepare a list?
Yes, Madam President. If any members of the public wish to speak on this ordinance, state your name when the appropriate letter of the alphabet is called. Again, please use *6 to unmute yourself if needed. Letters A through D, E through H, I through L, M through P, Q through T, U through Z. Is there anyone, A through Z, who wishes to address the council? This will be the last call, A through Z, if you wish to speak on this ordinance. Madam President, the list is now closed.
Thank you.
Move the ordinance.
Second.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Escobar.
Yes.
Council President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes. Now we have resolutions 1 through 32, except for 20, and at this time, we're preparing to open the meeting to the public comment on resolutions only for up to 5 minutes per person, one time up. Again, just a reminder, if you need to speak, please hit *6 to unmute yourself, and Madam Clerk, can you please prepare us a list?
Yes, Madam President. If any members of the public wish to speak on the resolutions only, please state your name when the appropriate letter of the alphabet is called. Letters A through D, E through H, I through L.
Charlie.
Okay, Mr. Cradaville. M through P.
Danielle Moore.
Okay, Ms. Moore. Q through T. U through Z. Is there anyone A through Z who wishes to address the council on the resolution?
Nishan Dada, can you hear me?
Nashan Dada?
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
Can you please spell your last name, Mr. Nashan?
D is in Delta, A is in Alpha, T is in Tango, T is in Tango, A is in Alpha.
Okay, thank you. This will be the last call, A through Z, if you wish to speak on the resolutions. Okay, the list is now closed. Madam President, the first person on the list is Mr. Nashan Dada.
Thank you. Mr. Dada, can you please state your name, spell your last name, and your address for the record?
Yeah, my name is Nishan Dada, I live in New Brunswick. Last name is spelled D as in Delta, A, T as in Tango, T as in Tango, A. You need anything else from me?
No, just which resolutions you're addressing.
It's resolution R-072139. I just really had a question with I guess, the timeline of rolling out the grant award agreement. I believe under law, we were supposed to have body cams on the officers by June 1st. I'm confused as to why all of this is being put forward now.
The state funding just came through, and we've been working diligently on it, and it's going to be rolled out as soon as possible now that we're getting the money. Do you have any other questions?
No, I just wanted to make sure that, everybody was doing their due diligence. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Madam President, the next person on the list is Mr. Charlie Cradaville.
Thank you. Mr. Cradaville, the floor is yours. Mr. Cradaville?
Please dial *6 to unmute yourself if needed.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
I can,
yes, we
Mr.
can.
Cradaville.
Okay, good to be with you again. Charlie Cradaville, New Brunswick Today. Here to speak about a resolution on page 4 of your agenda, R-072143, an award of contract to Longo Electrical Mechanical, Inc. And I want to reiterate my concerns about this company. If you recall, we spoke in 2018 about this company. I'm very concerned about the namesake founder, and I believe he is still involved in the company, Joseph M. Longo. This is a person who was convicted and pardoned by his personal friend, Governor Chris Christie. The charge that he pleaded guilty to was kept quiet for several years, but it took place in a Middlesex County courtroom in June of 2016. He pleaded guilty to 4 counts of tampering with public records. He was sentenced to 2 years of probation and paid a $300,000 fine. And if you look into that case, you'll see that his victims included the Middlesex County Utilities Authority, who were defrauded and misled with the false records that they were provided. And the real victims were his workers, who were illegally underpaid. As many of you know, in the government contracting world, there are rules about the minimum amount you can pay people for certain amounts of work or certain types of work, and it's called the prevailing wage. And Mr. Longo's company had an elaborate system to avoid meeting those requirements and covered it up by presenting false paperwork to the MCUA and to another agency in Montclair. I'll draw your attention to Politico article the day after Christmas 2017 by Matt Friedman. It confirms all of this, all the facts I'm giving you here. I've personally looked through the court record and brought this up in a number of different settings. I believe you did the right thing in 2018 when I brought this up, and you ultimately awarded the contract to a different company. And respectfully asking you to pull this here because it really sends the wrong message about corruption when people who do it get away with it and don't face consequences. So while this person did go through the court system, his friends kept it quiet for him. His friend, the governor, pardoned him. And now he's trying to escape the business and reputational consequences of the wrongdoing by coming right back to governments like this one and asking for you to trust him to do the right thing by his workers and by you. And I would submit, given the record that he has, given the record that is on, in court, that this would not be the type of company to help our water utility with their needs. And I wanted to ask you, respectfully, to pull this from the agenda. Is that something the council would consider doing tonight?
From what I understand, this went through a fair and open process, and there's nothing that prohibits him from applying or receiving this contract, Mr. Cradaville.
Well, I would like to interject.
Well, you
This is
respectfully-
Kennedy, and I would like to ask. I would ask our city attorney to take a look at this, because I do remember this that we did do this with this contractor, Mr. Cradiville. Mr. Cradiville is correct, and I would like to hold it, and I would like to see if, because they can't work under an alter ego. So if they have an order or something from the Department of Labor against them, I would like to know that myself. So I would like to hold it off.
Mr.
Well, I'm
Shammy,
not
can I have your
voting for
advice, please?
it. Whatever you, Mr. Shammy.
Well, let me just state for the record that Mr. Cradiville is referring to a prior matter involving Longo Electrical Mechanical, Inc., where there was a bid challenge. After a public hearing as required by law, we had determined that Longo Electrical Mechanical, Inc. would be disqualified, and then the other bidder, whose name escapes me at the moment, was awarded the contract. It's called the Local Public Contracts Law, and unfortunately, for better or for worse, this municipal body is bound by it. So this particular bid went out to anyone who was so interested in bidding, and in this particular case, there were two bidders. This is not the same project, by the way, that Mr. Cradiville refers to, or the same service, if you will. This is a different service, same contractor, but it is a corporation, and I know the corporation does bear the name of Mr. Longo, who I believe Mr. Cradiville is accurate with his recitation of the facts and the pardon by former Governor Christie. I know of no disqualification with Trenton of this contracting unit. Certainly, I could look into it again. If that were the case, obviously, we would pause and perhaps look at it from that perspective and our ability to award to this contractor. But I know of no disqualification that exists for this contractor to bid on a contract, and therefore for us to award based upon the lowest responsible bid as is required under the Local Public Contracts Law. However, if it is the council's pleasure to hold it and have me look into it further and report back at the next meeting, I'm sure administration will do that, and I will be more than happy to explore it further. The contract, though, does commence July 22nd, and in the interim, I am not aware, as I sit here, of the ramifications of not having a contract for this service as may be required with the sanitary pump station maintenance. So I just caution council in that regard.
Councilman Egan, are you satisfied?
That's okay.
with
No,
Mr.
yeah, sure.
Shammy?
I know that our purchasing agent, Ms. James, has done her due diligence. I know she does a check-off list. So what I'll just do is I'll just personally vote how I feel on it. But if everybody, the attorney and the purchasing agent, say they met all the requirements required by law, then we should continue to vote on it.
I did, and I did ask those questions when I was going over the agenda, and I was told that they could legally do this through the fair and open process. So, do you have thank you. Do any other council members have any questions or issues relating to Mr. Cradiville's concerns?
I just want to say that I agree with Councilman Egan. But I will vote accordingly, to what I see, but I feel that we should look into this.
Thank you. Mr. Cradiville, your time has expired. Can I have the next person on the list, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Madam President. The next person on the list is Ms. Danielle Moore.
Thank you. Ms. Moore, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, please just state your name again for the record.
Danielle Moore. My first question is regards to 22. If you can explain with the recycling, what is this? Are you hiring a new company or something with the recycling?
No, this is the same service that we did use in the past. We did look to two other companies for bids, but the MCIA was the most cost-effective service to use and this is for marketing services related to yard waste recycling.
So this is the same, company that you're using for Ewing? With Ewing?
Yeah. It's a standard contract. This is through the MCIA.
Well, like I said, I pray, like I said, you take the time to see how New Brunswick is regards to, even if it is connected, to do something better for our recycling due to where, like I said, just because something costs cheaper doesn't mean it's better. Well, I see that you're putting new garbage, new cans out, waste baskets, but what? That's not going to do the thing. If I told you problem is what? Not having the recycling the correct way or garbage. And like I said, due to where, if any of you want to take the time to look at the evidence, what a poor job these companies are doing for New Brunswick and causing extremely too much litter. So like I said, I hope you get a look into the future. Like I said, it's not about what's cheaper. It's about what's better for New Brunswick. I have to say, wow, to see what 24, to see what $85,000 going towards the 6th Department of Public Works. I say that money could go towards, like I said, new garbage cans, even to support the employees. $85,000 due to where, like I said, how hard they're working. Wow, please tell your George Street businesses, wow, to think of the workers as well, due to where how hard they're working. They have to pull their garbage from every corner, from every business to a distant corner, how much they're working twice as hard. And like I said, wow, $85,000 should have went towards the worker, and I hope Cahill is listening due to where new budget and give them a raise. Metuchen Edison, $20 an hour, only what, $17.41 for New Brunswick, who's busting their behind. Do the right thing, Mayor Cahill. Think of the workers. It's $85,000. Wow, could have really went towards a raise. And I would just like to say, wow, as far as with 13 to see Jersey Avenue. Wow, how you're so concerned about, like I said, knocking down, rebuilding. Wow, please, any of you walk through Jersey Avenue, wow, it's like a tunnel due to where the grass, the trees hasn't even been cut in so long. Wow, it's like a jungle. Please do take the time, instead of you concerned about selling real estate, building, wow, take care of the maintenance first. Please take a ride through and you will see what I'm talking about. You can't even walk through on the sidewalk of Jersey Avenue due to where nothing has been done, due to where I see, wow, it's all about real estate selling. Think about the abandoned buildings that are here in New Brunswick, abandoned properties, open lots where they're becoming what? An outhouse. Wow, people crapping, they're messing, pissing, but all these buildings building up. Think about that instead of where you keep thinking about, wow, all these other locations. Please try to help do the right thing for New Brunswick, inside of New Brunswick, where the residents are suffering from. And like I said, it's very sad where, wow, all you keep thinking about is knocking down, repairing certain locations. Wow, pay attention to, like I said, in the living area, what needs to be done with the real estate, with these abandoned, boarded up houses. Please go look at them, go smell. See, you can even go under Baldwin Street, how bad it smells. Due to where, yeah, and then another thing I will say, all this construction work going on, what every time it rains, how it's washing it to the river.
Do you have
see how the river is polluted?
Do you have any other concerns relating to the resolutions?
Due to where, yes, like I said, you're dealing with Jersey Avenue, that's what I'm speaking on. Yeah, so I can make comments on what I'm speaking about. Thank you. But like I said, and also for cameras, yes, I can't wait for New Brunswick to get their cameras. Wow, it's funny to see what moment we said that the cameras must be put in, how, you have officers putting in for retirement. Oh, I wonder why. But like I said, for my safety and others as well, and I Mr. Charlie Cromwell, please look into it. I thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Your time has expired. I just wanted to make a brief explanation about that $85,000 cost is for roof restoration, and it is part of an ongoing project where they found more things that needed to be done. So it isn't, it wasn't just something that we are haphazardly doing. It's something that needs to be addressed as part of an ongoing project with the roof there. Do we have any other members of the public who wish to speak on the resolutions, Madam Clerk?